I'm Cindy with Wisconsin Voices for Recovery, and this is Speak Out on Stigma. Today we'll be hearing from Sherry. Hi, Sherry. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Good, good. So tell me, what are some of the damaging effects of stigma that you've experienced?
So, when I was 18 years old, I struggled with addiction and ultimately had a felony when I was 18. And I feel my stigma stems not only from my addiction, but my history with incarceration.
Mhm.
Um, it's been a hard thing to overcome. Especially now I can look back and I see today I'm a social worker, I'm a doula, I'm working on a Wisconsin prison doula project. I'm doing all these things in the community, but people who don't know me can look up that I was incarcerated. And there's this judgment, and people say things and don't think it's a problem, but it can be a problem. I've experienced that. We don't get the same opportunities as people. Even applying for my social work certification, somebody without a record, it's, like 10 pages, right? Mine was like 70 because they need all this additional paperwork, and it's stressful. It's very stressful.
It sounds like it has a pretty devastating impact in terms of creating barriers and also the internal uh, challenge of having to do all of the extra steps and kind of what that feels like.
It definitely causes external and internal barriers. And I think a lot of it is self doubt. And as a mother, I just want to be the best role model I can be for my kids, But when society has this stigma on me that I'm not, I'm a felon or inmate or whatever term is used, that is very damaging.
Mhm. What I'm hearing is that stigma can potentially have an impact where it damages relationships.
Yep. There's a lot of judgment in our world. And, I wish there wasn't. I wish people could look and be like, wow, they have 10 years in recovery. That's incredible. Like, let's do what we can to support them. But it almost makes it more challenging as you do good because that stigma is really hard.
And what can we do to address stigma in the community and systemically and within the structures that people with substance use disorders encounter?
I think getting the people who have lived with substance use disorder involved in the conversation is a really critical piece. Same for incarceration, having those voices heard because that's where we're going to see change. And one thing I really want to do is the Wisconsin Prison Doula Project. So, like helping the people inside, helping the people who are currently incarcerated and giving them that support that they're going to need as they reintegrate into society. So they don't have what I experienced where I get out, I go from 0 to 3 kids. I have no resources. I have probation breathing down my neck and telling me, you have to do this, you have to do that. But nobody's stepping in and saying, hey, like, I want to empower you and I want to help you get to where you want to be. And that can be done through peer support. So I feel peer support's very important, just having people who are in a position of power being aware of what's going on and accepting of the fact people make mistakes. And one thing I truly believe is that everybody makes mistakes. We all know substance abuse is a disease, right? Well, you take that pill or whatever, then you have this disease. And there's so much judgment on it where there should just be acceptance and love.
Acceptance, love, support. These are all things that help break barriers down. And you would also mention, being heard, having people be available, share their experience.
Yep, and that is one thing I like sharing my story, but it's also such a vulnerable thing, you know. It takes so much strength. So every time I see somebody share their story, I appreciate it. You know, I want to be there for them. Just like, wow, that takes a lot. You're doing something really positive. And some people don't share their stories, and that's great too, because they know what they experienced, they understand it, and they can be that support in a different way.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would just say to anybody watching, stigma can be very, very damaging. Damaging to relationships, damaging to careers, damaging in so many ways. And that person, fast forward 10 years, I mean, that's not even the same person. Your brain grows, your brain develops. A lot of people who have criminal records have them from when they were younger, and their brain wasn't even developed. So I just would like people to take that into consideration. And for speaking poorly of someone because they had committed a crime or struggled with substance abuse, really look at it in a different way, to where they're just a person and they made a mistake.
Yeah, we're all human.
Mhm.
Um, and mistakes are an opportunity to learn and grow as well. They can be seen as a positive road to growth too. And I think, I agree that the perception, it's important for the perception to change,
Mhm.
and for that support to be there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sherry, for sharing your views on stigma. And thank you to our viewers for watching. Speak Out on Stigma is a forum to raise awareness about the harmful impact of stigma on those in and seeking recovery. Recovery is for everyone. Together, we can eliminate stigma. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Thank you and have a nice day.